Start with you, Tim, because you kicked this whole thing off. Tell me why did you why did you raise the issue with me, and what's the reason for your interest in this initiative?
So from my point of view, having to be more involved with homeschooling this time round, I took up the challenge last week, and I thought to myself, right, what do we need? We need a few laptops. The kids have online learning. They've got to do online content. I've got to upload all the stuff that they do to the portal, to the school. It's all fine. So I head over to the office, grab a laptop, grab an iMac, come back, set it all up, and we've got one in the kitchen, one in the playroom. Happy days. I go through 3 or 4 days of homeschooling, and on reflection, I realized just how difficult it is to do homeschooling, even if I'm not trying to juggle my normal day job. And I then think about how difficult it must be if I didn't have the access to an iMac or a laptop just whenever I wanted, and I didn't have one for each of my kids. So I realized how fortunate I was to be in that position, and it made me think about how difficult it must be for those kids and those parents who don't have access to any laptop whatsoever, or even those where they've got siblings and they're having to share, because just the process of sharing when you're trying to get them to concentrate on learning would be hugely difficult, let alone the impact of having no access.
Yeah, makes sense. What about you, Chris? 24 hours later, I got a call from Redders, and I was surprised how similar the message was.
Yeah, exactly. And the kind of emotional call to action that I felt came from the same point of origin that Tim has just articulated. You know, my daughter here is doing homeschooling. It's much more structured and lasts for the whole day now, as you know, slightly different to what it was like where it's more fluid in lockdown 1 and there was the initial response. But I sat next to her and watched her do a Spanish lesson, and I realized how hard it was for her to sit there all day. I watched 10 minutes of one lesson. You know, they've got 4 or 5 in one day, in one place, no move into the playground and to the canteen and interacting and having a laugh with your mates in the stairwell. None of that fabric of the school life that we reflect on when we think of what it was like, just there in the corner, looking at the screen, you know, all day, trying to concentrate for a 14-year-old on the run up to her exams. And I just thought, this is really difficult. And not only for my own daughter, but actually I felt for the teacher as well, because I could see on the chat, you know, everything happening. And, you know, that was my personal experience. But the catalyst moment for me was, you know, I've mentioned to you before, I'm a big LBC fan, and I had the radio on in the background, and I heard a mother call in, single mum, 3 lads, youngest 7, eldest 15. And they're all trying to homeschool on the one device, which is her iPhone that they've got at home, whilst she's also trying to work on it. And I just thought, you know, in summary, I can't just sit and listen to this anymore. I need to feel as though me and we at Redholt and across our industry are doing something to contribute to the, you know, to the UK community of kids that are out there that we can help pretty easily, actually, as well.
I'm fortunate enough that I live on my own. I've got my dog. I've got a laptop. Like, I haven't got children to think about. But being an ex-school teacher, having worked in teaching for 3.5 years before getting into recruitment, you know, I've got a lot of friends still in that space. So I started picking up the phone to them. And then Chris gave me a shout. And hopefully what we decided is that together we could make a difference. And for me, it was really, what's the point in having contacts? What's the point in having clients? What's the point in generating business if we can't all come together at times and support people in need? So we came up with this idea, didn't we? Project 500, which it's a bit punchy, but I'm confident we can do it. And the aim is to get 500 devices out to 500 children as fast as we can. And that's going to be a February 2021 campaign that might last longer. We don't know what's going to happen with the government going back to schools. They've said they're going to give schools a 2-week notice before they open. So I think the earliest we're going to see is the 1st of March of schools opening in the UK. And that probably will get delayed and have issues and all sorts. And there's no reality or guarantee that won't go back into some form of lockdown again. So we decided that we wanted to help as many children as we can.
Yeah, 100%.